we think that if we don't accomplish something that we're not valuable. We don't stop and say that who I am is valuable because I exist. And that's all I need to know that I'm worthy. That my worth doesn't come from how well I do, but we send our kids off to school and we teach them, don't we? I'd never ask my kids for their report card. It's just never been a big deal to me whatsoever. And I've often told the story so many times of when I was living in the orphanage in Mount Clemens, and I came home from school, and I asked Mrs. Scarf, the lady that we lived with, what's a scurvy elephant? And she said, where did you hear that? I said, well, I heard Mrs. Poole, my third grade teacher, telling the principal that Wayne Dyer was in her classroom and that he was a scurvy elephant. And so she said, no, I've never heard of that. She got on the telephone and called the principal. The principal said, oh, that's Wayne. He gets everything mixed up. She didn't say that he was a scurvy elephant in her classroom. She said that he was a disturbing element in her classroom. And my great teacher, one of the great teachers of my life, Abraham Maslow, used to say that if you really want to reach self-actualization, you have to learn, first and foremost, to become independent of the good opinion of other people. To become independent of it, and not run your life on the basis of what other people have told you that you should be doing. E. E. Cummings, the great American poet with all lowercase letters, remember? To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you just like everybody else means to fight the greatest battle there is to fight and never stop fighting. I don't use the word fighting, but I suggest to you that, and I wrote this out in here, ego training continues into adulthood, often eradicating any self-concept based on our divinity as a piece of God who came from non-doing and is headed back to non-doing. Ego training contributes to a self-concept that makes us shrivel into a feeling of insignificance at our meager portfolio in contrast to those who've achieved more. The truth is, we don't have to do a thing in order to validate ourselves as worthy and valuable. Had we done nothing but just be godlike, we'd fulfill our own dharma. Ironically, we'd most likely have created a larger and even more impressive resume had you allowed yourself to just be. You are not a human doing, you are a human being. And being means not identifying yourself on the basis of what you do or what you accomplish. The great irony of what I'm speaking about here is that when you get to this place that I'm speaking about, this place of non-doing, which most of our egos can hardly even comprehend because we've been so saturated with the belief system that if you don't do and accomplish and accumulate, then you're not valuable. So it's hard for us to imagine how do you do without struggling, without striving, without working so hard. But just ask any great artist how they do it. You know, Picasso said that when I enter my studio to paint, he said, I leave my body at the door before I enter, the way the Muslims leave their shoes when they enter the mosque. And I just allow my spirit to be there. This talk that I'm giving to you right now is a non-doing talk. I don't know what I'm going to be saying 5 minutes from now or 3 hours from now, any more than the ball that you throw in the air has any idea of where it's headed. It just is. And that place is not a place of irresponsibility and not being respectable. Ironically, it's a place of great accomplishment. My most joyous moments in writing are when I'm not struggling, when I'm not trying, when I've let go, In the recovery movement, every one of you know what we say, don't you? Let go and what? Let God. Just allow the highest part of you to take over and become at peace with that.